Before I get your takeaways on the RBI, tell us a little bit more about the second wave. Does it feel a bit different than the first crisis? How does a more deadly wave weigh on this economic recovery now?
Sure. Thanks for having me on your show. So as far as the second wave is concerned, of course, it's far more intense. It is yet to peak out, and the daily average, 7 days moving average, is now close to almost 0.38 million, which is almost, you can say 4x of the peak which we saw in the first wave. Death rates in terms of as a percentage of total cases is low, still at 1.1%. But the absolute number of deaths are increasing. So it's far more intense, far more deadlier, I would say. But one big difference between the first and the second wave is, clearly exists, and that is in terms of the dent on economic activity. Unlike the first wave, where we saw economic activity dramatically slow down, whether you take the months of April or May, this time, economic activity has been far more resilient. So in terms of health crisis, of course, it's far more intense. But if we focus on economic activity, the dent is much lesser when you compare it to the first wave.
Interesting. A more deadly wave, but more resilient when it comes to the impact on the economy. On the back of that, though, we are also dealing with global commodity prices that are surging. We are forcing a lot of central banks right now to turn a little bit more hawkish. But then we see an RBI coming up with an unannounced meeting and announcing more measures to stem this drag on growth. How much longer do you think the RBI can actually stay dovish?
Our view is that at this particular juncture, for Indian policymakers, the focus is clearly on growth. And as long as the uncertainty on COVID stays, vaccination, of course, will take time because the population size is pretty large. Policymakers will remain focused on growth. Of course, the Monetary Policy Committee or the Central Bank of India is an inflation targeting central bank, but they have made very important commitments on that particular aspect. Based on recent monetary policy minutes, or even if you look at some of the articles which are coming from Reserve Bank of India, the tolerance level has been defined very well. As long as headline CPI remains within the band or less than 6% on a sustainable basis, I think that gives the policymakers and RBI in specific a lot more breathing space to focus on growth. So in our view, if we talk about next 6 to 9 months, growth will remain the priority, and Monetary Policy Committee as well as RBI will remain accommodative. Any policy normalization, let me emphasize, not policy tightening, but any policy normalization in our view cannot happen before the last quarter of calendar year 2021. And when I say policy normalization, I think the December quarter at the best can see steps in order to reduce the overall size of liquidity surplus in the banking system. If we are talking about repo rate increases, which is the policy rate of Monetary Policy Committee, that in our view is still almost a year away.
Anubhuti, there's so much debate on whether or not Prime Minister Modi should impose another national lockdown. In your view, is the economic devastation from another lockdown bigger than letting this crisis persist?
Of course, national level lockdown can have a larger dent on the economic activity. Having said that, I think if we look at the stricter mobility restrictions, which are getting imposed at localized levels since the beginning of April, these are now becoming more widespread. More and more states are imposing those mobility restrictions. And as we know, some of parts at some point in time will be equal to whole. So there are mobility restrictions, and of course, these are at a staggered pace, and therefore the dent on the economic activity is much lesser vis-a-vis what we saw during the national lockdown of April or May 2021. So if the health crisis continues, nothing can be ruled out. But at this particular juncture, I think given that peaks in COVID wave differ from one state to the other. Localized mobility restrictions are looking far more effective from government's point of view.
You talked about how the economy is more resilient now. How concerned are you about that contraction in retail? After all, consumption accounts for about 60% of GDP.
It's extremely, very, very important point because almost 60% of India's GDP is contributed by household consumption expenditure. It was surprising to us that in the month of April, despite the second wave, a very, very intense second wave, consumption has proved pretty resilient. On the production side, whether you look at the PMIs, they were comfortably above 50. In the month of May, we are seeing some marginal contraction, whether you talk about fuel sales, which is a good representative of both consumption as well as the production side of the story. But there is no significant drop in consumption or say a significant increase in savings at this particular juncture, which is in sharp contrast to what we saw last year. So for now, I think consumption has proved resilient. Can there be a risk that we can see consumption falling much more sharply? Of course, we live in very uncertain times. If the second wave persists for longer, or if a third wave hits India in quick succession and is equally intense, then we can see a bigger impact on consumption. But for now, with an assumption that the second wave starts flattening out from the month of June, and hopefully even if we have a third wave, it's not very intense, we think that consumption can remain more resilient. And there are a whole host of factors. I think we have to remember that unlike India, which is going through difficult times, the rest of the world, especially if you look at the main trading partners, US, Europe, China, they are doing much better. That provides support. Even if you look at it from the fiscal perspective, last year it was firefighting for the government. This year, they already have an expansionary budget at their disposal. And I think for the consumers at large, they have learned, how to deal with the pandemic and how to, manage their income and spending. So I would expect some bit of, consumption resilience, but of course, an adverse impact is inevitable.